Pretty sure you just point and shoot. Hey legends, so I'm back staring into the back of the Troopy again, trying to figure out what's going on, where I'm going to put stuff. It's like a never ending thing. The amount of hours I've been down here just staring at it, doing nothing, trying to figure this out. Righto, so today's little thing is going to be trying to figure out where the air compressor is going to go. So there's heaps of voids in these TROOPCARRIERs and they just get underutilised, as you'll see there. I'm thinking somewhere on the left hand side for that air compressor. I will be running the air compressor off the main battery, the engine, so I'll just have to keep the engine running to make sure that power's consistently delivered to that, which is no problem. I'm not going to be using it heaps anyway. So there's already kind of provisions to run wires and stuff down that left hand side. There is holes in the side of the Troopy up there. I've allowed enough room for the insulation and stuff under the carpet to run wires as well. So being that ARB Twin Compressor, it does run some quite thick cables, but I'm confident we should be able to run them pretty easily. So I suppose the big question is, how am I going to mount this compressor? Now there's a couple of voids that I could probably use there, but I suppose how do I maximise the use of those voids and how do I mount that thing in there? So what I've decided, this whole panel, it's going to go, and then I'm going to make my own panel that's going to fit all the way in there, and then I'm going to use this front void here as the void for the air compressor. So that should be quite neat. I can run the wires up through the side of the car there, out through that little grommet that's already been put into the car from factory, run it with the rest of the wires down to the front, nice and neat. Then I'm going to make a provision for that compressor and to make sure that there is enough air in there to create a little bit of airflow. Those compressors do have an inbuilt fan on them, but just making sure that it can circulate throughout the car as well. So as I said, I'm not going to be using it too much, but it could get hot, you know, if I do those all four tyres, and then if I need to help out anybody else as well, so it will get a little bit of use. It gives me options for where I want the outlet, which I don't know where it's going to be yet. So potentially on the top there, and then I can just drop the hose through the window and clip it on and have the switch there. Or I might inbuild it into this cabinetry and then have this, just open this rear door and then have it all here. So, and then I can keep all of the hoses and fittings and the actual inflation gun all up tidy in this little section here. So, but anyway, that's a bit of the plan. So that's what I'm going to do. I've said it multiple times, but a lot of, you know, heaps of people got different ideas on how they want to do this stuff. But after staring at it for a while, I've kind of thought that's probably going to be the best way that we can do it and build it into our setup. I suppose the challenge moving forward now is how are we going to mount it in there? How are we going to do that? I'm going to try and do it myself. Pretty sure you just point and shoot when you weld or something like that. Sure, we'll get it done. Anyway, jump along for the ride and we'll see how it turns out. Cheers, legends. Rightio, sweating bullets, but we're getting there. So that basic template's been cut out now. So that sits nice and tidy where that pre-existing panel sat. So I just needed to adjust that a little bit, but it didn't take much. Yeah, fits pretty smick, so I'll be able to go on now and then just figure out the positioning for that compressor in that front end, and then cut out that void for it, and then obviously cut out the mounts where I'm going to mount this plate up to, and then I'll cut out some holes for that that existing vent, so we've still got the vent out to atmosphere. But yeah, it's coming along. I'll keep on ripping in. Righto, we're back. So I've got that section cut out now, so you can see where that's going to be now. So I've measured that up, given it a bit of a tolerance around that, and also given me a point to weld in that back section of that box as well, so it should look pretty neat from this side. The depth of that recess won't fully house that compressor, so it will stick out proud, but as I mentioned, there will be a void there, so it shouldn't really matter in that little section there. But I suppose the main thing is that it has a home and it's nice and secure, and it has a bit of airflow around it as well. Pretty happy with that so far. It looks pretty neat. So the plan obviously is to drill some mounting holes for that plate, nutsert it into that bodywork of the car, so that'll make sure that that whole section is nice and stiff and secure, so no issues when she's going to be bouncing around on corrugations and all that kind of stuff. But I will put a little bit of rubber or something behind that panel as well, so it has got a little bit of flexibility, so it's not super rigid, but it will be nice and tight and secure. So anyway, day one complete. Have a bit of a rest, might slip up the pub for a couple of bevies, bit of feed, might crack on with it tomorrow, I think. See you then. Righto guys, it's the next day. Been doing a bit of work to it. So you can see there, put nutserts into all of these mounting positions for that whole panel to go into. I've also put a little bit of adhesive back foam in between the mounts and that panel as well, to stop any potential vibration between that. I've also bought some little rubber washers that I'm going to put in between the panel and those nutserts as well. Yeah, just for that to compress against and stop any rubbing as well. So I'll put that panel in, give you a look at where it's up to at the moment. So there's the panel fitted there. Looks pretty neat. Just use those black dome-headed screws from Bunwise. Yeah, that should look pretty tidy. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the vent yet, whether I just drill some holes out for it or whether I cut that completely out, use that factory Toyota vent. Yeah, I'll sit on that, I'll have a think about it before I get it painted up. But yeah, looks pretty neat, nice and sturdy. So once that insert gets welded in, yeah, definitely will be able to hold the weight of that heavy compressor. So we shouldn't have any dramas there. But yeah, I'll take that out, I'll get that other bit welded in, and I'll come back to you once all that's done. Righto legends, back from the fabrication shop. So I got the big girl all welded up now, cleaned up. I've test fitted it, test fitted the compressor inside there as well. So it's all good to go. So it does only have the 3 sides to it. I've deliberately left the bottom open, so it will sit in there like that. So I've left that bottom bit open so the wiring and that can go down and along the inside of the body. So that should make for pretty easy wiring, running those cables up the side of the car. Also that fan that circulates the air for that compressor is fitted on the bottom, so it can just move that air around in that bodywork if it gets hot. I don't think it'd be under that much stress, unless I am the token air supplier guru, but we'll just have to see how it goes. So anyway, that's it. So it is nice and strong. Obviously out of that 3mm steel. It's a little bit heavy, but I can't weld aluminium and I wanted to do it. I just don't have the tooling. So I could have paid someone to do it, which would have cost an arm and a leg, but just a bit of time. Got it done myself, so if I need to change it to alloy, I'll find out when I check my weight in my car. But anyway, see what happens. Righto, get this thing off the paint. Got the panel back from the powder coaters, so she's ready to go in. I still haven't ran my electrical leads yet. I need to get all that sorted, but I might fit this in there now, see how it looks, fit that compressor in there, and yeah, I'll give you a look. I think I discussed this with you last time, guys. Before I put that panel on, I've just put these little rubber washers on with a little bit of dab of Loctite just to hold them in place. So yeah, when I put that panel on, that'll squash up nice and tight, secure, and should stop any vibrations through there or rubbing. Righto legends, she's all fitted up, secured in there. So I've used the existing Toyota vent. I've just cut the pins off it and then painted it that satin black to match the powder coated panel, and then just use some double-sided tape to secure that, and then obviously, yeah, mounted the compressor from the back, making sure there was clearance in that void. That's what does stick out a little bit, but that coming out doesn't really affect it too much because there is going to be inbuilt storage on that section of the car. But even if I didn't have the storage, like, it only protrudes about 15-20 mil max, so it's not really going to impede the cabin too much, but it looks really good, easily accessible. Righto guys, I might wrap that video up there. I'm not going to go into the details of how I run all the electronics up to the start battery. It's pretty straightforward. There's only a couple of powers and an earth that run up there, a couple of fuses, so I will talk about that a little bit more once that's completed and once I've started doing my 12-volt install. Chances are I'm probably not going to be using the standard switch that's supplied with these compressors. I want to get it built into my Bluetooth system so I can remotely turn that on and off. So I will discuss that further once we get into that 12-volt build. But I just wanted to share with you guys how I've decided to mount this compressor and the little process involved. And I think it's come up pretty good. So this little section here as well, you can use the factory Toyota cover, which will clip in there as well. So you could either, you could have got that powder coated grey, which will match all the rest of the interior if you're not doing a build, and just keep it all that factory look. But there is going to be a lot of accessories throughout the back of this car that's going to be black. So I am just continuing on with that black and sandy taupe theme. So that's the reason why it's powder coated black. So guys, share your thoughts about it. Comment below what different ways that you guys have mounted your compressors and the pros and cons. I'm happy to hear about it. I'd love to hear what you guys are up to and what you're doing. But if you like what I'm doing and you want to watch the rest of this build take place, make sure you click that subscribe button and the notifications bell, guys. Give us a bit of a like, give us some love. Until next time, hook in.